Hey there, I'm professional psychic Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up Sundays for October 9th, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome, my new subscribers, and thank you guys so much for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, please do hit the subscribe button, like it, ring that little bell thing, hit that little bell icon, and then you'll be notified every time I make a post on my channel, which I've been doing daily as well as this weekly. So the dailies are just short little 1 minute videos. So make sure you check those out. I talk about the transit that screams to me the most for that day, and I draw a card. So those have been very cool. I also post those on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So lots of ways you can check those out. So, and just a little bit about me for those of you who do not know me. I've been a professional psychic in Austin, Texas since 1988. I'm a channel, which means information just comes through me from a divine source. I'm a medium, which means people's loved ones will contact me or talk through me as well. I'm also an empath, which means I feel in my body what's going on for other people. So, in my private sessions, I utilize a non-traditional tarot deck, the Osho Zen Tarot, and astrology. So my readings are always a combo deal of what's coming through, what I'm feeling, if someone's loved one interrupts, looking at what the cards say, looking what the astrology says, both through the birth chart and the current transits. And the current transits are like the weather forecast, like what's going on astrologically that's impacting you or us right now today. So never know what's going to come up in my private readings. I also want to mention again that I'm offering a special reduced price rate for my readings if you host a party and for all those who attend your party. And the party payments are set up one of two ways. Either the host or hostess pays for my time by the hour at my reduced price rate, or just has me available for their guests to pay me directly for their 15 to 30 minute readings is usually the time frame that I do at parties. I had a vision this week too that I was at a party that someone was hosting and they were out of state and they had me set up on Zoom in a computer in a private room. So people were taking turns coming in, getting their private readings with me via Zoom while everybody else was milling around at the party. So I haven't done that yet, but that seemed like a brilliant idea that just came in as a vision. I am available to travel to you if you're not in the Austin area. You just never know. I've done parties in New Mexico, in Colorado, in California before. So just give me a shout. I might be willing to put it on my schedule and come out to see you, especially here in Texas. I would definitely have traveled to do parties in Dallas and San Antonio and Houston, down at the coast. So hook me, reach out to me. I've got my contact information below my website, as well as my email is below this video. So make sure if you want to have me at your party and take advantage of these reduced price rates, that's between now and the end of the year if you are scheduling a party. And a party can be 4 people. I just request that 2 hours of my time be used at a minimum. So that's 4 people getting 30-minute readings each. Easy peasy. Or I've done parties where I'm there for 6 hours. That's kind of where I draw my limit. So just reach out to me if that resonates to you, if you'd like to have me at your party, or if you'd like me to set me up to be on Zoom at a party that you're doing and you're not here locally. So that's all I'm going to say about that blurb. As usual, I'm going to talk about the transits for this week. I'm going to do mini readings for all 12 signs, and I'm going to play a song for you. This week, it's one I've written and play on the piano. So I'll put the timestamps for the readings as well as the music below as well. So I'll tell you a little bit about the song I'm going to sing, which is that it's one I wrote. Last week I played one that I wrote, but it was channeled, which means it just came through like a reading does. This one I'm doing today is one that I wrote coming out of sort of my collective experience. And I work a 12-step program around food addiction. I had a long struggle with eating disorder and disordered eating and food addiction. And when I started going to FA meetings, Food Addicts Anonymous meetings, almost 10 years ago, I was told not to eat any flour or sugar, which includes alcohol, eat 3 weighed and measured meals, nothing in between. Because when food is your addiction, it's hard because you have to dine with your dragon. Other addictions you can put down and not touch again. So one of the tools I was taught early on in recovery was, if something or someone's eating something that has sugar or flour in it, or it's at a time when, it's not time for me to be eating, I can just say, that's not my food. And it's a simple sort of wax off. All right. Instead of looking at someone else's plate. And that's another thing I was taught, is like, keep your eyes on your own plate. It's like, that's not my food. And so that was so helpful, as just, I'm at the grocery store, I'm looking, oh, these things are calling to me. That's not my food. It was just an easy wax off, and it just made things so much simpler. So then I was struggling after a relationship had broken up years ago, and I kept thinking about this person in a way that felt super obsessive, like I used to do with food when I was thinking about, oh, I want to eat that. I want to eat that. And I thought, what can how can I transfer what I've learned with food into this realm where it's like this person just keeps popping on my brain. I can't get them off my mind. And being psychic, often I'll pick or think of someone when they're thinking of me, and then that just makes it extra hard to get someone off my radar. But I thought, well, that's not my person. That's an old story, especially when I got caught up in what the drama was in that old relationship, hooked by how they treated me or what they did or didn't do. It's like, that's an old story. And so that was one of the wax off things I started using. It's like, that's not my person. That's not my guy. That's an old story, and also when, one of the things that can be really life-sucking and vibrational, really lowers your vibration, is gossip, talking negatively about other people, right? And so I've learned to do a similar thing with that, which is like, that's not my business. Like, whatever they're doing, good on them. Like, to not try to participate in gossip. So those kind of ideas are what I put together and made this song called Old Story. So I'll be singing that and playing that at the end of this video. All right, let's talk about transits. Right now, today, this morning, Pluto went direct. Pluto has been demoted by astronomers. It's what they're calling it, a dwarf planet now, but it's super potent and powerful in astrology. So Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. It represents death and transformation, power and control. It's the lord of the underworld. It's deep, dark secrets. It's diving deeply into your psyche. All these things are Plutonian energies. So it's been retrograde for about 6 months, which means this wrecking ball of a planet, which transforms anything that it gets around, has been offline, and so we've been moving internally, like issues of how we can own our power come up when Pluto is retrograde, instead of dealing with power struggle. Not that you don't deal with power struggles externally, because there's other factors in astrology that is pointing to that as well, but definitely power and control issues can come up with Pluto wherever it is in your chart natally. That's where you came in to transform and do some deep level work. Where it is in as a transit, it's transforming that house, that area of your life in your chart. And and it's slow moving, right? So we're having a Pluto return, which means that Pluto has come back to the place in the skies where it was when the United States was formed in 1776, July 4th, 1776. Actually, Pluto was at 27 degrees, and right now Pluto's at 26 degrees and some change. So as it begins to move forward, it'll cross back over that 27 point, that exact Pluto return point of the United States, but it will never come back to 26 degrees. Once it moves forward out of this degree range, it'll never come back to this again in our lifetimes. So this part of our chart that's been, Pluto's gone over it once, turned around, came back over. So this part of our chart that it's been, and part of our lives that it's been transforming, will never be the same again. we'll never have to come back and revisit this transformation again. And so for me, this part of the chart is happening in my fourth house, Capricorn. Pluto's in Capricorn right now. It's ruling my fourth house. Fourth house is the house of home, family, right? It's your childhood home. It's also your home right now. So my home has been completely transformed since Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008. I've had children leave the nest. Now I've had all my children leave the nest. You've been watching my videos regularly. You know that I am now an empty nester for the first time since I was 22 years old. So Pluto has totally transformed my home, right? And now my home's going to be just about me. I don't know if you can hear that honking. Someone's car horn is going off out there. I can hear it. If you can hear it, that's just the universe, magnifying what I'm saying here about Pluto. And Pluto is also things you can't control, right? You cannot control Pluto. It's like a wrecking ball. It's going to transform whatever it's going to repeat myself. It's going to transform whatever it's near, whatever house it's in. It's going to leave things changed. It will not be the same. And so Pluto begins to move into Aquarius next March. So next year it goes into Aquarius, which is a completely different vibe. Capricorn is an earth sign. It's power and control issues. This is how we've always done things, is this Pluto in Capricorn, the good old boys network. So I've been saying for a couple of years now, Pluto in these last degrees of Capricorn has brought up this paradigm, which is the paradigm when the United States was formed. The people that had the power and control in the United States when the United States was formed were white men with money. And that paradigm has lasted for 250 plus years, right? That paradigm is what's being transformed, among other things. And so anything that's in this vein of the top down power over, I have money, you don't, that kind of dynamic is going out the window, going down the drain. This is all over the globe, right? This is not just affecting the United States, because Pluto's in Capricorn, affecting all power and control issues all over the globe. So we see it over there in Russia with Putin trying to hold on to its power. And that's what's happening, is people who are used to having the power are wanting to hold on with everything they have. But they're going to have to loosen their grip, because otherwise it's going to be like Towers of Babel. Lightning's going to strike them. Earthquakes are going to happen. You can't control how Pluto's going to transform things. So it is transforming how the United States was even set up. So it's begins to move into Aquarius next March. Then it'll back into the last degrees of Capricorn again, like this is like Custer's last stand, that this raising its ugly head, trying to have power and control over. We're not done with this, right? Because it will be all the way to the end of 2024 till Pluto finally goes into Aquarius to stay. It's right after the elections in 2024. Pluto is moved into Aquarius, which is an air sign. It's the, two squiggly waves. That's about humanity. It's about everybody vibing together. It's not the top-down power over control thing, stuff. Capricorn's about stuff and our things and the earth. And Aquarius is about new technology and new frontiers, and it's ruled by Uranus, which is the great awakener. So I've been predicting that whoever ends up in the presidency seat 2024 moving forward is going to be some sort of maverick, some sort of new energy. And even if it's the same ones we're seeing, the players that we're seeing now that end up running for president, they're not going to continue being president. So Biden, if he runs and wins, I don't see him staying in office. Like, he may not even be running. He may, who knows what's going to happen between now and 2024. It's going to be so much change on this planet that all bets are off in terms of whatever you think it's going to be something different. And that's what, because the power and control planet Pluto is going to be in this sign that represents all humanity. And it's also new and inventive, breath of fresh air energy. So I don't believe it's going to be anyone that we've seen before be president when it comes time. Or like I said, if one of Biden or whoever's going to be running for the Republican ticket gets elected, it's going to be a breath of fresh air and someone completely new, or someone completely new will take over at some point right after the elections. That's how I'm seeing it right now. It's too far away to like predict, or, and I haven't gotten any channeled information about it. That's just looking at the astrology, right? A lot of astrologers will tell you they're not psychic. They just look at the planets and tell you what's what. I kind of do both, right? I'm a channel, so I'll feel things out astrologically. I'll get messages, but then I also look at the scientific sort of what I can look at and objectify with astrology. So it's a nice tool to have in your arsenal. So, so Pluto's gone direct as of this morning. So here we go, back online, churning up the skies, churning up these power and control issues in your life, right? So you might have to revisit power and control issues that are showing up in your life. And again, depending on where you have Capricorn in your chart is where you can be experiencing these power and control issues showing up in your life. And you want to know more about that, contact me. I will be putting out a video at some point in the near future where I'm talking about all the houses. I'm going to be moving this next week. So after I get the move over with, I'll have a lot more wherewithal and I'll start putting up additional videos. I'm going to keep my Psyched Up Sundays like they are, but I'm going to be putting additional videos up where I'm going to be interviewing with people and I'm going to be talking about specific topics that really are good for all time. Like, what is your rising sign and why? And what, what those kind of things, as they come to me. But houses, defining the houses and what they mean is going to be one of those videos that'll be, I'll be loading up pretty in the near future is what I'm feeling. So a little astrology teaching, a little psychic channel teaching, as I felt guided to do that. So that's what's coming. All right. So Pluto's gone direct. Also today, the moon is in Aries. It'll be crossing over Chiron before it hits full moon apex, which will happen at 3:54 p.m. today, Austin, Texas time. So if you're watching this after that, you've already felt the full moon. Full moons are always times of completion, letting go, things coming to fruition, culmination, and then they're followed by new beginnings, right? If you're releasing something, letting something go, there's a new beginning thing happening after a full moon. So this one is particularly potent, and full moons are always when the moon is across the skies from the sun. So the moon is going to be at 16 degrees and 32 minutes of Aries when it's at its fullest. That means the sun's going to be at 16 degrees and 32 minutes of Libra across the skies. And conjunct the sun is Venus. So sun's at 16 degrees, Venus is at 13 degrees. So it's conjunct. Within a 10-degree orb, things are considered conjunct. And then the closer they are to each other, the more powerfully you can feel the connection. So at the full moon, the sun will have crossed over Chiron, which is sitting at 14 degrees. It's retrograde. So the full moon will have Chiron in the mix and also Venus in the mix. So let me break that down. What is Chiron? Chiron is also a dwarf planet. It is the wounded healer. And a lot of astrologers are beginning to say that it is the ruler of Virgo. So, the myth behind Chiron was that he was wounded, right? And healed himself. And he represents healing, alternative healing in particular. Wherever Chiron, the glyph looks like a little key, wherever Chiron is in your birth chart is where you've come in with past life wounds that will show up as things that get triggered and repeated in your life, starting in childhood. And then when you heal the area where the wounding has happened, it becomes a place of great strength. That's where the key element comes in. So it's an opportunity to heal something. So as the moon crosses over Chiron, we could feel triggered. We could have something come up in our face that's still raw, or we could have the light shown on something that we've already healed and get that tested. So in this mid-decan of Aries, Aries is the baby of the zodiac. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So Chiron moving through Aries in the last few years has been about healing yourself, how you feel about yourself. The mid-decan is about our connection with others. So it could be healing the messages that we've received from others that have been wounding, our perceptions of what other people think of us and how much that matters. These kind of areas, I think, are supercharged for everyone, regardless of where you have Aries in your chart. And then if you've got planets or points around this mid-decan of Aries, you're already doing you some deep level inner work. If you're watching this, you're already doing some deep level inner work because you've already had some stuff triggered that you've had to go get help. And chances are you've done that with an alternative healer, therapist with different modalities, acupuncturist, Reiki people, right? Chiropractic. These are even massage as a healing tool. These are all alternative healing modalities versus Western medicine. Go to the doctor, get a pill. So this is about healing the psyche and the wounding that you have carried with you across multiple lifetimes. So there's an opportunity for great healing in this area for yourself today, as the moon, when it's full, it illuminates, right? And the moon represents our intuition, our feeling body. This is why people can be extra cray cray around the full moon. My mom is a piano teacher, and she used to swear by knowing when the moon was full based on the misbehavior of her piano students. So, you know, the lunatics come out when the moon is full. We can feel extra emotional. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the god of war. So I see every time the moon or planets moving through Aries, the tendency for people to have angry outbursts really gets upped. If you have unresolved anger issues of any kind, they can be triggered. If people around you do, they can be acting out. So I was like, heads up, watch out for times when, you know, planets are moving through Aries. Right now, Eris has been in Aries as well. It's at 23 degrees of Aries. Eris is an asteroid that was the sister of Aries. She was on the front line battlefield. She wasn't afraid to get out there and go to war. The myth behind her was that she was not invited to a wedding at Mount Olympus that everyone else was invited to. And so she showed up at the reception and just raised bloody hell and turned the whole party upside down, standing up for, like, how dare you not invite me? So Eris can represent standing up for ourselves. Eris has been in a square with Pluto for a couple of years. When they first started squaring off, that's when the protest really started. The Black Lives Matter protest started with this contentious energy, right? So Pluto is still in a loose square with Eris. And then the moon, after it's full, will be crossing over Eris later on today, tonight, into early tomorrow. So again, this protesting element, people's taking to the streets, standing up for their rights. Again, you may feel like you need to stand up for yourself in some way. So that can be activated with the moon moving through Taurus. Now, Mars, the ruler of this full moon, is in Gemini. So Gemini is the twins. It's an air sign. Mars is the planet of taking action, how we put energy into things. So Mars in Gemini can be super confusing. It can make us jump up into our heads instead of getting out there and taking action. Wait, I got to stop and think about it. Do I do this? Do I do that? It can create a lot of extra mental chatter. So Mars has been in Gemini for a while now. It's going to go retrograde at the end of the month. So it's in its shadow period. Right now, Mars is at 22 degrees and it's slowing down because it's about to go retrograde. So finding traction, be able to move forward, you may find it difficult to find traction right now, particularly if you're an Aries ruled by Mars. Or Scorpio was the old ruler. Mars was the old ruler of Scorpio. So you can feel personally like, why can't I get motivated? Why can't I get moving? Why can't I get out of my head? Spending all your time on social media. Gemini rules media, communications of all kinds, social media, the news. And so we can all get caught up watching too much screen time with this energy as well. So let me go back to the opposition from the full moon, which is the sun in Libra and Venus in Libra. So the sun in Libra, like I said, is about halfway through its transit. It's at 16 degrees. There's 30 degrees. The last degree is 29. The first one is 0. Libra is an air sign. It's the scales. It's balancing things out, right? It's about relationships. Its ruler is Venus. So Venus, right behind the sun, is in it one of its home signs. It's also the ruler of Taurus. So Venus in its home sign is all about, yeah, let's turn up the volume on things that are beautiful. Venus rules relationships first and foremost, but also your money, your finances, what you value, being valued yourself. And so with the sun and Venus close to each other, it's really emphasizing relationships in your life. And does this work for me? Also, the Libra scales is about justice and fairness. And so there's a lot of legal news out and about because of this weighing, the sun weighing through this sign, which is all about, is it fair? Is it just? And Venus is coming along. Venus can also be the women in our lives. So the sun illuminates and Venus is kind of running behind the sun. So it's waiting for the sun to illuminate things. So a lot of people are trying to figure out about relationships. Like my most recent readings, like relationships, it's always a pretty up there topic, but almost everyone who's gotten readings recently, it's about relationships and they want clarity in relationships. Now, I will say, I believe that everyone is psychic. We all have intuitive ability. So I feel like what my readings do most is shine the light and validate and confirm your own intuition. I don't go too much into the future, and visions are really rare in the future. And sometimes people are afraid to get readings because they're afraid to hear bad news or see something. I don't get deaths ever. I don't get car accidents that are about to happen. Like I just don't get that kind of stuff. It doesn't come through for me. I can sense the only thing close to that is if someone's in a relationship with someone who's particularly volatile or toxic or destructive, I can feel like, whoa, you could really be mortally affected by this person. They could kill you. They could kill your, something within you. Like, not that they would, but if something, that's the only thing close to that that I'll pick up on. Most of the readings are more centered on right now, today, getting clear about all the different pieces that are going down right now in your life, right? And so that's what when I talk about the transits, I'm trying to get everybody to be clear about what the players are out there. It's like, here's the stage, the sun is illuminating, the moon is tuning into our intuition, Mars is how we take action, Venus is what we love and who we love. It's also how we receive energies. And so about this, Libras can be wishy-washy, right? If you have your sun, moon, or your rising in Libra, or a lot of planets in Libra, you can feel kind of like, oh, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. I've got Libra rising. I've gone in and out of a lot of relationships too. Like oh no, this works. No, this is working. No, this is not working. Oh, this is working. No, that's not working. Like I've done a lot of that kind of movement in my relationships in the past. So a lot of people can be doing that, really like weighing out their relationships of all kinds, your relationships with your siblings, your family, your significant other, of course, your neighbors, the people you work with. These are all in the relationship realm and all being highlighted. And with this full moon, which is about releasing, letting go, illuminating, you could get some major illuminations around this moon about your relationships. Like, whoa, okay, I can see clearly now. Like you may have like dreams can be extra strong as well with this energy. So I talked about Mars being the ruler of this full moon and Mars being in Gemini and moving through its shadow period. So on October 30th is when Mars turns retrograde. It turns retrograde at 25 degrees of Gemini. It'll go back to 8 degrees of Gemini before it begins moving forward again. And that's the mid part of January. And then it will be till the end of March before Mars actually goes into Cancer. So it's been in Gemini since August, I believe. By the time it goes forward, it will have been in Gemini for 7 months. And usually Mars takes about 6 weeks to go through a sign. So it's really hammering out this part of the chart. So a lot about Gemini, right? The twins, the Jekyll Hyde. Can you trust the people in your life? Are they telling you the truth or not? And a lot of people jumping up in their heads and being overactive in their minds. So important to breathe deeply and often, ground yourself, do your meditation practices, your chanting, your spiritual connection, soaking in the tub, taking walks in the woods, sitting in front of a campfire, whatever it does that grounds you. We need extra of that right now and for the next several months, because this tendency to overthink, to be up in our heads, miscommunication. Like, you think Mercury retrograde is bad, Mars retrograde in Gemini is going to feel like Mercury retrograde on steroids again, because Mars is the god of war. So people can be extra pissed off. Like, thoughts that piss you off could be coming to your mind. Like, I've been noticing that personally. Like, why am I feeling so pissy? And then I've been going over things in my mind. And again, I'm like, wax off. All right. What kind of, let's move to something else. Let's, like, redirecting the child that's heading for the knives. You don't scream out, no, don't touch the knives, because that's going to just right, they're just going to go start running faster towards the knives. You go, look at the butterflies, look at the butterflies. So that's kind of what we have to do to our own brains. We have to, like, redirect the mind when we find it going off track to something more positive. So it's good to have your go-to redirected thoughts when you find yourself going down the drain or just stuck on the loop. But we could all be feeling like this extra. And we're already in this shadow period, which means, you know, Mars is at 22 degrees. So it began entering its shadow period at 8 degrees. So it's been in shadow for a while now. So we've been already seeing a preview of coming attractions, what's going to be happening as Mars goes retrograde. So anyway, so that's Mars. Let's go on. Jupiter. Jupiter right now is moving from, today it'll move from 2 degrees to 1 degrees of Aries. It's retrograde. It's going backwards. Jupiter is one of the beneficial planets, beneficents, I think it's something they call them. Venus is another one that's brings benefits, brings good things in. So again, with Venus conjunct the sun during this full moon, new people could be coming in too, relationships in particular. All through this transit with Venus and the sun moving through Libra together can be bringing in new people into your life, new people that have a unconditional loving vibe, or new women friends can come in because the Venus energy bringing in, right? So Jupiter has been across from the sun here in Aries. It's going backwards. It's going to go back into Pisces later this month, and it's going to be in Pisces for a couple months before it goes back to, so it goes back to the last sign of the zodiac. So there is a thing called the world axis, which is at 0 degrees of all the cardinal signs. So Aries, Cancer, Capricorn. What am I axis? Let me see. Aries, Cancer, Scorpio. No, Libra and Capricorn. All right. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. These are the cardinal signs. These are the initiations of new seasons. At 0 point of all these signs is the world axis, which means things, planets, or things that cross this or are on this point are meant to do things on a global stage. So if in your birth chart you have planets or point at 0 degrees, or again, a few degrees off of this on either side, you are meant to do something for the entire planet. There's a mission for the planet that you came in with if you've got planets or points on these degrees. I have 0 degrees of Libra, so I believe part of my work is here to help everyone on the planet balance out things. Libra, right? I have my Mercury at 1 degrees of Aries. Communication, what comes out of my mouth, what the messages I'm delivering, again, close to this world axis. So I feel like my mission, I've always felt like that since little bitty. I didn't know what, but I felt like I was here to do something important. And to me, it's not about me, ego self, doing something important. It's about the universe using me as a channel to deliver messages. So Jupiter is on this world axis to 1, it'll go down to 0 degrees. this month. And so it's bringing good luck for the entire planet, which we need right now, particularly with the potential hornet's nests that's been kicked over there in the Ukraine by Russia. Like, I feel like Jupiter is helping to protect the whole planet right now, hanging there on the world axis. Oh, I'm getting goosies with that. So I'm hopeful there won't be a nuclear war or fallout, because Jupiter's energy is bringing in this positive vibe right there at the beginning and of the whole zodiac wheel, the on the earth axis. So it's moving closer to that energy. So and then it'll back into Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, where it's sort of reconfiguring what we've learned over this last 12 years, like going back. It's like going back and taking a final exam, or let's just go back and look at everything, reflect on everything again. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the whole zodiac wheel. So where it is now, it's going to back in until the end of December, and then it'll be going into Aries again. It'll revisit these places it's been visiting now over the last few months, but it's starting a whole new 12-year cycle. So it's an opportunity to start something new in your life with Jupiter being there. Like, whatever you're starting and initiating new in this life can be powerful, and you can count on it lasting for 12 years. So relationships that form during this time, definitely going to be a long-term relationship, at least for the next 12 years. Any projects you start are really going to have a longer, so it's a very potent, really lovely energy where Jupiter is hanging out in the skies right now. So let's see, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Saturn is retrograde. It will go direct next weekend. Saturn represents how we form things, how we structure things. It's father time. It's the no. Where we say no is the stop sign shows up, the red light. No, wait, hold up. And it can represent sort of the old way of doing things, or something that requires a lot of time to put into it. Like, a lot of times where Saturn is in your chart, you'll be a late bloomer in that area of your life. It'll take a long time to do something. And Saturn, wherever it is, if you apply effort, it will bring rewards. But it can also be the root, the teacher with the ruler going to slap your knuckles too. It can be an ouch, and it can be fine. It can be the government making rules that don't feel good. So we've been having a square between Saturn and Uranus, which is also retrograde right now and is in Taurus. So Uranus and Taurus, Uranus is the maverick. It's the one planet that spins a different, like all the planets spin this way. Uranus is spinning this way. So it does things different. It's unique. It's things out of left field. It's the ruler of Aquarius. So it's the sudden unexpected. Like, if you know any Aquarians, can you predict what they're going to do next? Not usually. So this is Uranus. You can't predict how Uranus is going to show up. It's in Taurus. It's not really comfortable in Taurus because it likes to change things up, and Taurus likes the way things are. What's the plan? This is how we do things. I'm going to work hard here on the earth. Taurus is the earth itself. So lots of earth changes since Uranus went into Taurus. I think it's been like 4 years ago now. It's got another 4 years to transit through Taurus. So it's still shaking things up. And it's been conjunct the North Node over this last year, which is really shaking up. North Node is our collective destiny, what we're all supposed to be learning. And Uranus is helping us break up and shake loose of things that don't value, relationships where we're not valued. Uranus is helping us value ourselves as it moves through Taurus too, but also taking away things that we don't value, or people that don't value us. So Uranus, the great awakener, the new, the inventive, has been in a square, contentious relationship with Saturn, the old, the predictable. This is how we do things. It's been shut down energy versus new, inventive energy. So when they first squared off, it was in February 2021. We had the great freeze here in Texas, where surprising, unexpected weather, like when does it snow and then ice is on the ground this deep for a week? Never. That's unexpected, surprising weather. And what happened? the grid shut down. The grid shut down, right? We couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck. So that was the first square off. We had another square in June and then another at the end of last year. This is the fourth and final square we've been having. And it's not exact by the minute, but it's exact by the degree. Both Saturn and Uranus are at 18 degrees right now. So we're still feeling this month. So there's a big energy of conflict between this is the way we do things, the ones in power and control. This is where I said power and control is also showing up, and then wanting to innovate things differently, do things in a new way. So this conflict's been coming on, but this is the last square for a while of these two planets that's going on right now. So we're feeling this energy of like, wanting to break out of where we've been confined, wanting to break out of old habits and behaviors that aren't working for us anymore. Saturn can be like how we structure our time and our routine. And so we're being asked to change that up. Also, Saturn in Aquarius can be changing up who and we associate with, like it's our connections. Aquarius rules the 11th house in astrology, which is our networks, our groups, the people we want to hang out with in groups, whereas Libra represents one-on-one relationships in the 7th house. So that's been going on. That's super powerful as a backdrop to the Saturn squaring Uranus going on. Okay, so coming up this week, Mercury moves into Libra later tomorrow. So it's the last degrees of Virgo right now. So we're wrapping up today, tomorrow, finishing up projects, right? Like, okay, I got to get this finished, because Virgo is about attention to detail. It's about taking care of our health. It's about ordering things. And so Mercury, our thoughts, our communications in Virgo has been, it was in Libra and then it retrograded back into Virgo. So now it's about to retrograde back into Libra. So then we'll have a stellium, 3 planets, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Libra this week. Puts even more emphasis on relationships and on justice and fairness. So that's a really lovely energy, Mercury. And then it'll be opposite Jupiter, which makes things stronger, brings things out. So conversations can be extra important, extra powerful coming up. We had a trine between Mercury and Pluto most of last week. So this was transformative thoughts, transformative conversations happening. So we also have tomorrow, I've written down that Venus will be opposite, tomorrow being Monday the 10th, Venus will be opposite Chiron. So again, this wounded healer in an opposition with Venus, it can bring out into the open where we've been wounded, particularly in relationships, and opportunities for healing conversations, because Mercury's right there kind of behind. As Mercury's going into Libra, it's like, oh, let's talk about this. Let's work this out. So it's a really lovely energy going on for healing relationships this week. Tuesday, the Sun is going to be trining Saturn. So this is a positive. Trines are always positive. Sun is illuminating. It's over there in Libra. Yes, let's do this. This will work. And Saturn here is, again, about structuring. So we could have like some clarity. We can have an agreement with someone. We can get like a yes from the universe, the sense of like things clicking into place, clarity around how we're putting our energies and balancing our time and all that. Like there can be a real beautiful resonant energy on Tuesday with the Sun's trining Saturn. The moon will be crossing over the North Node and Uranus on Tuesday too. So crosses the moon. Again, it's always illuminating as it's moving around the chart. If you don't understand transits, I think one of the easiest ways is to start paying attention to where the moon is and what you're feeling or what you're noticing in your life, right? And I talk about usually what the moon's doing on my dailies. So moon's crossing over the North Node, activating the lessons we're all supposed to be learning right now, collective destiny issues, and then over Uranus, sudden unexpected things. So there can definitely be this like, and again, transits we can feel ahead of time, we can feel them after the fact. Just because something's exact on a particular day, you can feel it beforehand, you can feel the residue afterwards. just so there's always this, just like conjunctions are within an orb of degree, even when something's exact, you can still have an orb of feeling it show up in your life, and especially residual effects. Something could come together on a certain day and you don't even find out about it till days later. On Wednesday, we have Mars squaring Neptune, and we're going to feel this energy. We feel this energy already because Mars is at 22 degrees, Neptune's at 23 degrees. So that's just a 1 degree off of a square. Contentious relationship is a square. It's like two people coming to an intersection at the same time, and both of them want to go forward. Usually the outer planet has the upper hand. So Neptune is also retrograde. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's over there in Pisces. So it is wanting us to connect spiritually, wanting us to open up psychically. That's the positive end of Neptune. The downside of Neptune can be being caught up in an illusion, delusion, addictions. So Mars squaring this, you could come to Jesus moment when it comes to addictive battles that you're having, where you're putting your energies, because it's Mars. Like, you can be stopped and have to reconsider something. Neptune can take things away too and dissolve things. So a path could be like erased that you thought you were going to be doing, can be like, okay, well, I'm not going to be doing that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that shows up. And again, we're feeling that energy already. We'll be feeling it all week long. It's exact in the middle of the week. Let's see what else I put in. Moon will be moving into Cancer by the end of the weekend, which we feel more sensitive when the moon's moving through water signs, just so you know. It may not be a weekend to go be social. You may wanting to just like duck and cover, like a lot of Cancers do, stay in that shell. Okay, so I do have that Jupiter goes back into Pisces October 28th. And then from October 18th to the 27th, it's when it's on the galactic center at 0 points. So that's when it's exact, starting next week, but it's already close. But again, it'll be interesting to see what kind of benefits might show up for the whole planet, for you in your life, wherever you have this cusp of Pisces and Aries in your life, can be where something beneficial can really show up. So we're already in eclipse season. So we have the full moon now, today, and then the next lunar event will be a new moon solar eclipse that will be happening on October 25th. It's at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So Pluto is the ruler of the eclipse. Eclipses are portal points. It's when things open up. It's where we can jettison our life forward. Major life changes can happen around eclipses. It's like, it's not just on a personal level, like for everyone, things can really shift, especially with Pluto involved, death and transformation. So this new moon solar eclipse happening in Scorpio at the end of the month is a powerful, potent one. Particularly if you have planets or points around the 2 degree part of Scorpio, but really for everyone, because it's Scorpio, it's Pluto, it's a lunar eclipse. People come into your life around eclipses and people exit your life around eclipses. A lot of births and deaths happen around the eclipse points. And so we feel eclipses like 6 weeks ahead of time. So we've already been feeling this eclipse energy. People are like, why is it so intensive out there? Because Pluto, for one thing, it's been stationing to turn direct, and any planet that's stationing to turn one direction or the other ups its power, ups its intensity. So right now, Saturn turns direct next week. So already feeling the intensity of Saturn stopping to turn around. It's like turning the Titanic around, these outer planets. So then the next eclipse after that is the full moon lunar eclipse that will be exact on November 8th, election day. Its ruler is Venus, because it'll be happening at 16 degrees of Taurus. It's going to be conjunct Uranus. So if a eclipse isn't powerful enough on its own, conjunct Uranus, sudden unexpected things. So this election, whatever the polls are saying, is not how the election is going to go down, because Uranus is going to go, let's throw a curveball in there. So expect the unexpected when it comes to this election, since it happens on an eclipse. You can't make this stuff up. So then not only after that, the next full moon after the full moon lunar eclipse in November. We'll have a full moon in December on December 8th. It'll be at 16 degrees of Gemini. It'll be exactly conjunct Mars retrograde. So a full moon conjunct the god of war. Like, so like, to me, we need to make it past these two eclipses and this full moon in December. And if I think we'll be able to breathe a little bit deeper after that, but it could be gnarly and intensive. I'm just going to say, because we feel these effects ahead of time, we feel them afterwards. So this brings me to last week and the week before, when I was doing my readings for each sign. This card, the aloneness card, showed up 4 times last Sunday, 4 times the Sunday before. So this is telling me the universe is trying to get us all to connect with spirit. Whatever's going down on this 3D realm, there's something way more infinite and powerful that is bigger than our personal egos, bigger than the drama that's being played out on our planet right now. But it is a pivotal time in our universe. It's a pivotal time on our planet. It's a pivotal time in our country, especially with this Pluto return going on, right? So this transformation of self needs to be happening. Everybody's contributing to the collective. If you're an empath and you're not raising your vibration somehow with spiritual practices, you're going to be feeling what the collective is, what's going down on the collective, which is steeped in fear and anxiety and depression and worry. How many people have been committing suicide over the last couple of years? It's been crazy. The amount of people going off and taking other people out with them, it's off the charts. So how do we combat that energy? You can't get in there and fight with it. You can raise your own vibration and then send that raised vibration out to the collective, which is why I think that this aloneness card came up so many times over the last 2 weeks, is because it's important that everyone is diving into spiritual practices and raising their vibration so we can put the higher vibrational energies out to the planet. I'm getting goosies with that too. Goosies is one of my signs. Like when I'm channeling, when information is just coming through, I start getting goosebumps like on my face, down my arms. So it's always like a confirmation. It's like someone ringing a gong. Yes, that's right. So important. Like, oh yeah, I know I need to meditate. No. Meditate every day. Like, breathe deeply. Stop to breathe as often. Like, you're noticing yourself stressed out. Stop. Take a few moments. Just one deep breath can really shift things. Take 3 deep breaths. You can really start to, shoulders can start coming down or away from your ears. You keep doing that for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. Whoa, you can completely shift your experience of what's going on in your life, right? So it's paramount right now. We're in critical times and we want things to tip over to the light, not tip over to darkness and the fear and all this negativity and the crap that's going down and people running amok with their unresolved issues being projected and dumped onto the people around them. So I go over my notes here. Okay, I put the Mars squaring Neptune thing that we're feeling this week. It's really lasting for a couple months because Mars is moving so slowly and it's going to go up there, and Neptune does move slowly because it's an outer planet. Mars is moving slower than usual. So it's going to go up to 25 degrees. It's going to come back. So it's going to be in this square with Neptune for almost 2 months. So I wrote, I don't know. Like, we can really have not a clue how things are going to go down, what's coming next. It's the ego versus divine energy, this Mars squaring Neptune. We can feel like we're struggling to do or say something. The antidote is going to be to surrender and turn things over. So that's how we can navigate this square, is not trying to force our ego. It's like surrendering to the divine within yourself, the divine in the universe that you can tap into. You may not be able to get as much done. So All right. It needs to be okay to be a human being right now, not just a human doing. Because Mars is like off track when it's going backwards. It's like, wait, what? Um, and Mars in Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the mind. Mars is like the physical body. So it's like, and then so the body mind is squaring with the divine. So, the divine, again, if you're tapping in consciously, then you can navigate this transit in a more fluid way instead of it, hitting you hard. You go, wait, no, I sense I shouldn't be doing that. Like, you can listen to your intuition, be guided through this. But if you're going off like, oh, I'm going to go do this, I know I need to do that, like you can just hit brick walls left and right with this Mars squaring Neptune. Also, things can be removed from you, taken away, again, because Neptune dissolves things, it removes things, and it has the upper hand in this square. So we want to turn to the divine, but we can, if some of you are struggling with addictions, you could find that stuff really coming to a head over these next couple months. Also, Jupiter, not only is it on the galactic center or close to conjunct the galactic center right now, it's the closest to the Earth that it's been in 60 years. And when was it last this close to the Earth? Cuban Missile Crisis. Right? And so what are we facing right now? Something very similar energetically with Putin and his threats over there, right? So another reason for us to up the vibration and call in the spiritual guides to help the planet right now, so we don't blow up and destruct right now, because it's right there on the edge. Jupiter poised on the galactic center while this stuff is going down is like such a benefit for us on the planet right now. And again, Venus will continue to be conjunct the sun all this week, and Mercury coming into Libra this week, illuminating relationships. Relationships can be really lovely right now. People can just pour into your life, beautiful new people, new women, again, with the Venus energy. So that is a lovely energy. Relationships should be more harmonious. Justice and fairness can really be the theme. Legal events really upped because of all the stellium in the sign of justice and fairness with the Libra. All right, I think that's all I have for the transits this week. Yeah, so breathe deeply and often, carve out extra time to connect with spirit, because the whole planet needs it. Not only do we need it personally, the whole planet needs this energy. Okay, so that's what I have. Swig of my tea here. All right, I'll put this alumnus card back in the deck. We'll see if it comes up again for anybody this week, since I've just lectured everyone, hopefully. I'll take note of that no matter what your sign is. All right, so I'm going to do readings for all signs. So please look at your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Now, if you don't know the time that you were born, you will not know your rising sign. Rising sign is really, to me, more important than the sun sign, because it places all the planets in all the houses. The first house is where the rising sign rules. It's like your face. It's just like your face can have all these different emotions. It's really your personality and how you interact with the world. It has a lot to do with who you are. So if you don't know a lot of times people that don't believe in astrology, it's because they're not looking at their whole chart, and they may not really resonate with their sun sign, particularly if the sun is like say your rising sign is Aquarius, your sun sign Capricorn may not fit, because Capricorn will be ruling your 12th house, and 12th house is sort of the unconscious, the subconscious. So that, there's so many little trails you can go down in astrology to look at everything. But this is, people can order their long birth certificate, because it's not on everybody's birth certificate. Often the long version of your birth certificate, which you can order from the county that you were born, will have a time on it. There are forensic astrologers that can help put together what your rising sign is. That's not a gift I have yet. I'm hopeful to cultivate that over time. A lot of times I can get a sense of what especially if it's a regular client that comes to me regularly, I can start getting a sense of what their rising may be because of what happens to them in their lives and when, because you can really look to, the outer planets and what's going on. So forensic astrology, for example, will get 7 major important life events, right? And can probably help place what your rising sign is based on where these events were in your life and what part of your life it was affecting. And it can really deduce where the outer planets were to make that happen. Also, there's astrologers will say that your face starts to resemble what your rising sign is. So, there's a similar appearance that will show up with people who have Libra rising, for example, or people who are Leo rising. There's certain characteristics that the signs will take out that become evident in the face. So that's another whole thing. But anyway, check out your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising, if you know it, or if you're a stellium, which means 3 or more planets in a sign. And if you don't know your chart, you can go on astro.com, astro.com. You can register for free, plug in your time of birth, your place of birth, and of course your date of birth, and they can show you what all these things are for you. So let's start with the Aries. Let's see what the Aries need to learn, know, see this week. I have the letting go card. So that would be appropriate with the full moon in your sign. What are you releasing? What are you letting go of? What are you finished with? What feelings? This can often be the teardrop falling. Like, what old emotional stuff do you need to be finished with? What person do you need to let go of? Right. So this letting go is saying let go of old baggage, let it go, let yourself cry, get in a situation where you can just let it come up and out. You might have to let go of a person in your life, in which case it's important to let the universe take that person on away, right? Especially right now, if someone's leaving your life right now, we're in this eclipse portal, Pluto, like all these factors can be taking stuff away. Uranus, all right, bye-bye, must not be important for me. Let go of what you can't control. This is like the serenity prayer, right? There's certain things you can control, you can put your energy into. This is like step back. If you don't know, meditate. If you don't know, pause. Aries like to go charging forward, like to jump into things, like to have the energy. This may be a week where you don't feel as energetic. You may feel offline a little bit. It's okay to let go of items in your house. Like I'm going through everything because I'm about to move. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be letting go of this week out the door, either giving it away, selling it, clearing out, trashing it. So this is a relief, a release. Some of you may have the question, do I stay or should I go? This is like go, whether that's with a job or with a relationship or with a state, should I stay here or should I move? This is the answer to let it go, move on. Do not be attached to whatever's showing up in your life right now. Let it go, be open, trust that the universe will bring in who and what you need. If you're having to let go of a person, trust that the universe will bring better people in. If you're letting go of a job, the universe is going to bring a better job in. If you're letting go of a home, the universe is going to put you in a position of being in a better home. Like whatever it is that the universe may take away from you this week, let it go. Let your fist, the little baby fist of the Aries, become unclenched and say, it's okay. I've got everything that I need. The universe will provide for me everything that I need. All right. That's what I get for the Aries. All right, we'll move on to the Tauruses. Okay, okay. The transformation card, which tells me you are definitely feeling the energy of this Pluto going on, and your life is being transformed on lots of levels. This is exciting change. This is when you get to leave the old story behind, and there's a new story that's opening up for you. I mean, you'll be having an eclipse in your sign, so that can feel extra personally activated. Um, but this is just, it's almost like I feel like you are a magician this week. Like this person has all these different hands. It's like, yeah, you may be doing lots, right? Having your hands in lots of different pots. And it feels like all of them are coming together in a way that works, like, especially if you're being divinely guided. There's also the Phoenix rising come out of the top of the head here. So some of you have really been through it. It's been intensive. And so now you're getting to rise above and fly. It feels like, you're out of the hard times. Better times are coming. Things are shifting in a way that are really opening up your life. Spiritual ahas, realizations, dreams can be super vivid this week. This guy looks like he's sleeping here. So like, pay attention to your dreams, write down your dreams if you're not already. He's got the snakes in his hand. Like there's going to be the death of something and the rebirth of something else. There's definitely major, major change going on that feels very empowering and long overdue. It's like, yeah, okay, finally, like feeling empowered, not power over someone else, but empowered with your own life, feeling like you can manifest. Tauruses are usually pretty darn good manifestors. So this week is about really manifesting on a higher level. The divine is channeling through you is kind of what it feels like to me with Tauruses. And there's, in one of his hands is a yin yang sign. So it's balancing out the destructive forces and the positive forces. Like we all have fundamental darkness. We all have a divine nature. This is like really feeling like you're getting it imbalanced and you've got things in check to keep your fundamental darkness at bay, and you're plugging into your higher self so that, okay, I can manage this. I can be inspired. Like this is divine inspiration that feels like it's coming in for the Tauruses this week. So, enjoy this. And it feels exhilarating. There's like electric energy, like feels like electricity is running through you. So you might even feel extra charged this week too. If you're a healer, it feels like you may be laying hands on people, or even if you're not a healer, you may be feeling like you're being called in to be a healer this week because it feels very, very hands-on. Hands-on feels really good and very powerful for the Tauruses. All right, we'll move on to the Geminis. Possibilities card. So this card says anything is possible. If you can envision it, you can make it happen. This card often will come up when people are planning trips or vacations, or on a trip or vacation. It's also about pulling out of your reality and looking at it from this higher perspective. This eagle's got this great view looking down, right? So it's about a new perspective. It's about pulling out, like if you were observing yourself from a higher self, what can you look at yourself from that vantage point instead of like being stuck in it? Because this card can also indicate that you're in the middle of a journey, right? You're in the middle of a process, and lots of things are possible, but you can get bogged down easily, like, oh, this is taking so long to shift, or this is taking so long to manifest. But this is like hope, optimism. Like this is a big yes, it's gonna happen, it's gonna manifest, you're gonna find it, it's gonna happen. And the number 2 is on here too. So I feel like some of you are really looking about relationships, and 2 is like there could be 2 different possibilities of relationships that come in this week, or an opportunity to connect with someone that comes up really strongly this week. The sun here like is illuminating, right? So I really feel like there's a big possibility when it comes to connections and networks and people because of this relationship energy. Yeah, this is the sun rising, I believe. So this is a sunrise. So it's like hope is dawning. Like, yes, you can have it happen. Like this is about, you know, do you have a vision for your future? Do you have goals that you're working towards? Do you believe in the unlimited possibilities in yourself and your potential? This is saying up your game on what you believe is possible. Anything is possible. Do you believe it? Can you ingest that in a place where you know that's true? It may sound okay, well, I can buy into that. Does your gut say, yes, it's possible? I know it's possible. You can manifest anything. So, and to me, this eagle is like looking at your life like it was on a timeline. Like we can get really stuck in the now, but okay, we're in the timeline trajectory. We've had all the years that have gone down up to now. There'll be all these years into the future. So where are you now on your timeline? Pull out, pull away and say, okay, whatever's going down now will be history next year at this time, right? Tomorrow at this time, this will be history. But it's that pulling out of not getting too caught up in the bog of now and to repeating what's already gone down. This is about getting excited about what the potential in the future can be bringing in. So it's like an exciting week, new potential. I feel like messengers can come in sort of helping you, giving you clues about what is possible this week. So open up to that and embrace the yes in your life and embrace the things, that you don't like. Look at the things where you feel like you're blocking yourself or believing, oh, I can't. Where's can't showing up in your life? And allow yourself to envision a can wherever that block is showing up. That's what I get for the Geminis. All right, we'll go to the Cancers. Somebody must be really stressed out because all of a sudden my neck is tight. So body work, Cancers. Courage card. So this is really lovely. This is the courage to bloom where you're planted. This flower is growing out of a rock, right? So it may be hard, it may be difficult, but you're choosing to bloom and shift anyway. There's a big change coming and you're the one initiating it, is what I get. There's all this beautiful light around you. To me, this is like the divine is protecting you. You've got your spirit guide team with you. Yeah, do it. Cheering you on. But the courage is maybe you're the only one doing it. Maybe nobody else is doing it. Nobody else's life looks like yours. The courage to bloom and be your best self right now in the middle of a hard day, a hard life. This rock's not going to change, but this flower is going to bloom anyway. I'm trying to get it where the light's not. Yeah. So this is a really beautiful image to like take with you, that you're that beautiful flower and you're inspiring other little flowers too to bloom. Like if you can do it, other people can do it, whether you're inspiring your children or you're inspiring your friends or loved ones, or you're going to be teaching someday or someone. Like there's this effect, residual effect, like a domino effect that's coming. Like you stand up, you take charge, you have the courage to make a shift or change, and it affects everyone else in a positive way, even if they're not paying attention, even if they don't see it. Again, the energy we put out is super powerful. So this is like, ooh, congratulations, you're working hard, you're doing it, it's great, and you may feel like a tiny little flower. Like, trust me, you're going to be a big bouquet at some point in the future. And you won't feel so fragile and so like up against the wall like you may be feeling right now. Like things are going to improve. It's going to get better. This little fire you've started is going to turn into a bonfire, is what it feels like. And if you haven't started something, this is the time to start something. Go ahead and initiate that new thing. A lot of you already, I get the feeling a lot of you already have something started. But if you haven't, this is great new beginnings time, is what, time to plant those seeds, put it out there. let the eclipses fertilize it as portals and let it really take off. Really trust that you are spiritually supported. Like, I really get that it's really important to tap into your guides, your angels, those around you, and know that you are not alone. And that's what I'm getting for the Cancers. All right, Leos. So my ring is wanting to fall off right now. So this ring is a Ganesh. And Ganesh is a Hindu god, it's an elephant god, right? It's the remover of obstacles. So to me, that this ring wanting to fly off is like there's obstacles about to be removed for you Leos, whatever the obstacles are in your life. It feels like, don't worry about it. It's going to be removed. All right. I've drawn the understanding card. This is like the caged bird that finds the way out here, and there's other birds out flying. This can also be a lot of divine intervention, your spirit guides, your angels really showing you that they're there for you in your life. Understanding can be just getting something that you like. The cage could be in your mind, like, I just don't get it, I don't see why, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, okay, I see. It's like a vision that's bigger than your brain, a bigger than your mind. It's coming from higher sources here, where you like, oh, okay, all of a sudden I get it. I see. I understand. This also could be the need to listen to someone in your life, to sit and listen, zip it, take it, really hear what they have to say to you so that you can have compassion and get where they're coming from. This is really opening up to really care for someone. Like, I feel like if you take the time to just listen instead of trying to, put what you want to say, what you think out there, like, be willing to be teachable this week. Be willing for someone in your life or the universe to teach you something you don't know. Don't assume you know. Be willing to go, well, I don't know. I'm willing. What do I need to learn here? What do I need to hear? What do I need to understand? Because someone in your life, I feel like, will need you to hear them, and just holding space with someone where they share it may not even be for you. It's maybe just giving compassionate space to someone else so that they can process. Right? It may not even be about you. I just feel like it's real important to shh and just be quiet and receive and hold space for people this week so that you can have just compassionate listening. Like, and there also could be dreams where, this card can be, spirits, angels, coming to you in your dreams. It also can be messages coming through birds, specifically, or things that have birds on it, are signs of birds to be messengers. A lot of times birds, cardinals, for example, can be a sign that a loved one is around. So there's just, there's secret language in birds around you as well. So there may be some particular messages that are coming from the birds around you in your life. So is there anything else? No, I just feel like there's a like-mindedness. Like, if you felt it blocked in or stuck or held back, like, it feels like there's a big opening this week so that you can step through the change, step out of the cage, be willing to open to new possibilities, new things that can come your way, new ways of looking at things in particular. For the Leos. All right, let's go to the Virgos. You've got the consciousness card, or I like to call this the Buddha card. This is an affirmation that you have a Buddha nature within. If you're a Christian, you can call that your Christ self, or your higher self, your divine self. It's not your ego. It's not your personality. It's the part of you that is tapped in and connected to divine wisdom, divine joy, divine compassion, divine understanding, these essences that are bigger than you are. So this is about spending time communing with this divine self, being conscious of the fact that you have a holy part of yourself, that if you put the mind down, slide the mind to the side, slide your emotional body to the side, and sit in the presence of your own divine self, that it's not about your ego. Again, it's about connection with the divine. The divine self is well aware of the divine that permeates the rest of the universe, right? It's the piece of the divine, the droplet of the divine, like a drop in the ocean. So this is about really tapping into this part of yourself this week. So this is saying, do your spiritual practices, not just, oh yeah, I know I need to meditate. No. Do your chanting, do your meditation practices, do your breath work, do the thing that taps you in to your divine higher self. Then you can move forward from that space and things can become clear that aren't. Like if you're frustrated, if you're struggling, take a break, step away, drop in, meditate. Even if it's just 5 minutes, it can shift and reorient anything in your life, especially if you're up against a wall, you're in a power struggle with someone. Drop the rope, get out of that tug of war, go within, seek wisdom for this moment, seek the guidance for this moment, seek to have the compassion for the person that you want to wring their neck, right? How can I approach the world from your Buddha nature, right? Can you bring the Buddha to work? Can you bring the Buddha into your relationship, right? Can you bring the Buddha with you to the grocery store? That's the higher self. Can you activate and bring out that Buddha in your life this week? I get that for the Virgos. All right, we'll go to the Libras. Happy birthday, Libra. If your birthday's this week, exhaustion card going on. This is, self-explanatory. Exhaustion, tired of, fill in the blank, over it. I'm done with this. There's a letting go energy that comes with exhaustion. It's like, okay, sometimes you just need to drop it and breathe, drop it and take a nap. Like, let go of the struggle because you're struggling with something. Like, turn over the struggle. Really trust that the divine has your back. Your spirit guides are on it. Turn it over to them. If you're struggling or wrestling with something, you're having a lack. Some of you may be dealing with illness or something. Like, I'm getting a throat thing into the lungs. Like, some of you are struggling with some health stuff. It could be allergies even. But I feel like somebody's struggling to breathe. So this is just important to tap into higher self. Some of you may need some medical help this week, though. Like this feels like you may need to get your butt to a doctor because you're depleted, you're run out, you're run low. You may be ill. It's okay. We all go through periods of sickness and health. So this could be a week where you just don't feel good, or you just feel there's a lot on your plate this week and you're like, just do one thing at a time. Like, just don't get overwhelmed by the long to-do list. Just really, this is definitely a week where you carve out time in the morning to say, what today do I feel guided to do? Like, there's all these other things I should do. No. What today? Where's my guidance for today? Let me just put my energies into what I can accomplish today. And, sometimes it's just a little baby step forward. Today, I'm going to try not to beat myself up. Maybe, I'm going to do nothing and try to enjoy myself. Can you do that and really enjoy yourself without beating yourself up? I should be doing something. Like, so you may need to take a break with this card, the exhaustion card, like take a break when needed is what this is saying. Really nurture yourself. Take care of your health. You may need to up your B vitamins, your C, your amount of water you're drinking, the amount of rest that you're having. Take extra naps. You may be taking care of someone else that's sick. It just feels like you may be tired of what's going on in the government. You may be tired of a power struggle you're showing up in your life. Like, I'm done with this. I am over this. I do get the sense that something is going to be completed. Like if you're in this long battle, tiring struggle that you've been having for a while, I feel like there's a breakthrough coming. Like this, I don't think you're going to be feeling this all week long. I do feel like I sense a breakthrough coming this week. Like, all right, put down your struggle, turn it over, breathe deeply, and allow the universe to come in and shift things and resolve whatever needs to be, settled, so that your energy feels settled. You feel invigorated. You feel new light coming into your system. You feel that you have the energy to do what you need to do, right? So just really tap into that inner voice. Some of you may be exhausted because you're beating yourself up about stuff going down or replaying stuff from your past, or some of you are worried about what the future is going to be bringing. Just today, what today do I have everything? Oh, I have everything I need for today, right? All right. I just trust that that'll be the truth tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Like, I always have everything that I desire. Well, everything I need. We may not always have everything we desire when we want it, but we will get everything we need. Everything you deserve, you will be getting or seeing. And some of the situations, you're going to have to take some action in order to get what you deserve. Some of you need to leave a relationship that you're exhausted. It's exhausting you. That's depleting you. Some of you may have to take up and get some legal advice if you're having a power struggle with someone in authority and you just need some backup. So there may be some action involved that also may feel overwhelming. It's okay. If that's the way you're being guided, that's the next right step. And you can trust that angels can show up in human form as well. All right, that's what I get for the Libras. Go on to the Scorpios. The laziness card is coming. So for some of you, it means you're feeling lazy. It feels like you don't feel like making the effort. You may be exhausted, like the last card I just pulled. It also may feel it's not always lazy, this card, even though it says laziness. This card will come up a lot when you're just, well, it can come up when you're taking a vacation and you're supposed to be being lazy. It can come up when you feel frozen or stuck with something. Like this comes up a lot with people who are struggling with addiction, and it feels like the addiction is getting in the way of you having the fullest expression of your life, whatever that is, whether it's a substance, whether you're addicted to a person or a behavior pattern. Like there's something that can be pulling your chi and exhausting you and keeping you stuck and keeping you in a place where you're not getting what your heart desires for your life. It may be a time to check out and pull away from the world too. This guy's got his shades on, right? He's like just disconnecting from the world. Some of you are going down like sort of a rabbit hole, and it feels like you're worrying, or there's an opportunity for a breakthrough. I'm almost getting like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. It's like, okay, there's some new perspective that you can gain, but it's not through what you've been doing. It's like needing to move away from what's going on and open yourself up for new insight, new perspective, new charge of energy to be able to move forward. If it is laziness, instead of procrastination is another thing that can come up with this card. You're just not feeling it. Oh, I know I need to do that. I have to do that. I should do. I don't want to. Like, Okay, so how can you spin it to yourself where you know that, all right, after you do X, then you're going to feel so much better on the other side of it. Like reward yourself, like give yourself a reward for doing behavior, even if it's biting the big, say you have to like go through everything in your garage. That feels overwhelming. I just don't even want to start. Okay, can you just maybe do it for 15 minutes? Do what you can do for 15 minutes and then stop. And that's getting the chi flowing. So if you can't run the full marathon, take one next right step, right? Move yourself that next place forward so you can get some chi flowing, get some momentum, because it feels like there's definitely some blocked up chi, some need to move forward. Like, what can you do today to, it may be that you need to take a break, go for a walk, put on some music and dance, do some yoga, move your physical body, and that can help move your energy as well. So some of you need movement going on. And some of you may be just doing too much movement and need to stop and rest. Like there's all these different things going on. So whatever resonates to you, take that and run with it. There's there's a tiny little bird here in this tarot card. So it's kind of like, I feel like you're missing some message. You're caught up in something in your life, or you're ignoring something or avoiding something, and you're missing some benefits, some messages the universe is trying to get through to you. So try to go get open to receive those messages. Be not so like drilled down in your own life. And when the shades are on, you're all in this internal world. So take the shades off. Like, okay, universe, what do you need to show me? What do I need to see? What do I need to hear right now? And take that next right step forward. If not today, tomorrow. All right, well, moving to the Sagittarius is next. Moment to moment card. This is that take one step at a time. What this moment do you feel guided to do in doing that next right thing? You don't have to figure out the whole big path, the whole big vision. All you have to do is be clear about this moment. What do you need to feel your best in this moment? Do you need to stop and breathe? Do you need to move your body? Do you need to clean out something? Do you need to call someone? What do you feel guided to do? Sometimes need can even be a charged word. What would bring me joy is another way to spin it to yourself. What would make my heart sing? These are other questions you can ask yourself, like, what can I do this moment that would bring me joy? What can I do to make my heart sing? What do I feel guided to do? What do I feel called to do? Not what do I think I need to do, but this is like letting a flow going. And this also about being in this moment is like, okay, pull yourself back from all the repeating of the past or future tripping, things you're worried about or planning and doing ahead, like bring it back to right now. Right now is your point of power. Right now is where you can be present and enjoy the moment. Also, moment has the word mom to it in it, mom to mom. So there may be like a connection with your mother. If your mother has crossed, there could be a connection with her in a spiritual way. You could be having a conversations with another mother if you're a mom, or connection, conversation with someone who is a mom. There's a mom piece here for some of you as well. There's also like there's some sort of construction or building that's in like a 3D realm, like it's in the architectural design realm, but not in the tangible. So it feels like there's visions of something that you want to create in the future, or something that's being built right now, either literally or figuratively, something you're working towards. And again, what today can I do towards that? Sometimes it's just about stop and visualizing it as if it's already happened, right? So that might also be going on. Some of you may be literally playing with blocks with small children. Yeah, it feels like building blocks. It's like you just put a block in place and you can build on that from the next. All you have to do is figure out which block you put into place and where right now. You don't have to build the whole castle. There's also these rainbow waves. So it does feel like it's also important to take some time to be around water, maybe drink more water, be around running water, flowing water. So a river, a fountain, the beach. If you can, some of you may be at a beach listening to this. But it does feel like, refreshing yourself around moving water is important. This is not like a pond or a still lake. This is like rushing water. So a river, a creek, an ocean, like I said, a fountain, a waterfall, somewhere where the water is moving. It feels real important this week. So if you can access moving water, it could help clear out what's going on and put, just the sound of something beautiful like that can just be really healing. So that's what I get for the Sagittarius. Let's go to the Capricorns. I may feel personally activated by this movement of Pluto going forward since it's in Capricorn. Let's see. I've got the going with the flow card. This is about letting things flow, trusting your intuition, letting yourself feel guided. Like Capricorns usually have a plan, want to work hard to the plan. They could often be very busy, task oriented. And this is saying it's okay not to have a plan. It's okay just to feel it out, to go with the flow, to allow things to happen, to not be the one in charge this week. This is trusting the universe, trusting that everything is happening in your life at the divine right time, trusting the flow, surrendering to the flow, making sure you're spending time breathing deeply. And maybe you need to like float on some water, like really literally feel a flow of water, being around an ocean or even standing in the shower or soaking in the tub could be really helpful this week, Capricorns. And it feels like, take it easy, enjoy, trust that you're exactly where you need to be right now. Like that it's all working out. There's a rhyme and a rhythm, and getting in rhythm feels like it's real important this lifetime. Yeah, this week. Music I'm feeling, even drumming. Dancing too. It just feels like moving your body and just allowing things to happen in an unscripted way, right? Instead of having the plan that you're working towards. It feels like this is the week to like just allow it to unfold. You don't have to have a plan. You can just say, okay, what today do I feel guided to do? And then follow that, right? Anything else? No, I feel like there's messages from spirit coming through. They may come through in your dreams. They may come through other people. So also being open and receptive to hearing new messages coming in feels like it's also important for the Capricorns. All right, Aquarius. Beyond Illusion card. This is the third eye opening. It's a butterfly, so it's a symbol of transformation, but it feels like this transformation, since this person's eyes are closed, may be happening more on the inside. You may not feel like it's showing up on the outside as much as you want it to, but trust that you are in the middle of a metamorphosis is what it feels like, right? So the caterpillar becoming a butterfly right now. Also with this third eye activating, it's so important to create the time and space to receive visions this week. Pay attention to your dreams, messages from psychic spirit, like trust, like if universe is bringing someone across your radar, across your mind, that it's important to connect with that person in some way because they may have a message for you, or you may have something that you're supposed to impart with them. Yeah, I almost get like even taking flight. Some of you may like literally be on a flight or planning to take a flight because there's something about like air and flying, and the butterfly flits around, right, and takes the pollen from the different flowers. Like what is nurturing and supporting and sustaining your life in in your world? Like, what are you doing to draw the nectar that you need? Like, what is your personal nectar? But this is like this to me, there's like a wow vision that comes in this week where you're just like, whoa, get some insight. Like, it's not coming from your brain, it's coming from your third eye, your psychic vision being activated in a strong way, your intuition, your telepathy, if you've got that ability, your ability to pick up on someone else seems super strong this week. So definitely go where you're guided, trust that flow, let yourself float and flit like the butterfly. Um, and yeah, you're in the middle of a change, middle of a transformation. And again, it may not be showing up completely on the outside, but trust that you are changing fundamentally in a beautiful, powerful way and becoming more aligned with your psychic self, your higher self, your vision. And some of you may be channeling to others this week, like that may be coming through you just by being open. You may be saying things that other people need to hear. I feel like it's a big week for receiving messages that are personal, though. So whether that's coming to you directly from your guides or your dreams, or whether people are coming in with messages that resonate, and like when someone says something and that part of you that goes, oh, that's true. That's intuition. That's a message coming in. So look out for those kind of messages this week. All right. And Pisces. Creativity card is coming up. This is about getting out the paints, getting out the food you want to prepare, getting in the garden and puttering, whatever you do that's creative, dancing, writing. This is the week to be doing it, diving into your creative endeavors. And sometimes even like rearranging your house can feel very creative, or how you dress yourself can be a form of creativity. But I feel like some of you are channeling songs this week, coming up with ideas for choreography, like writing plays, like whatever you're doing. It feels like there's a lovely creative energy. So get that out. Writing is the thing that's coming top of the list. So even writing in your journal, like inspiring ideas. What are you doing? Like, what does your Pinterest have on? Is there anything you can actually manifest this week? A small little project. Start thinking about creative projects you want to gift people with for Christmas. I mean, really not that far away, right? Give you 2 months to work on it, right? So, but there's a beautiful creativity. It's an affirmation that you are an artist or have creative abilities. And it's so important to bring those out. Like, you're going to really feel better if you dance, if you do the music, if you do the writing, if you do the creative craftsy project. Take yourself to, Michael's or Hobby Lobby and just roam the aisles and grab a creative project. You may be getting a download, not need to do that, but I feel like art is being created this week. Music is being created this week. Books are getting written this week. Like, it's a powerful week for the Pisces to get that creativity flowing. Should be easy to be creative this week for the Pisces. Okay, that's what I get for all the signs. Now I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go set up in my living room at my piano, and I'll be back. You'll not even notice, with a song. Okay, so now you're with me in my living room. This is my Buddhist altar here behind me. My keyboard here. So this song is called The Old Story, or Old Story. And I talked a little bit about it at the first part of the video. So it's my story about how I redirect my mind. When I wrote the song several years ago, I was still struggling with getting caught up with an ex who had broken up with me to go be with someone else. And so that's part of what was going on. And I was trying to redirect my mind away from them and what had happened, and like tell myself that's an old story. Now is what's important in my life. So hopefully you'll enjoy. After a lifetime of confusion, I am finally clear. I didn't realize my options. I acted out of fear. When I feel the pull to something or someone not for me, when my mind clicks over to obsession, I have found the key. I just say to myself, that's an old story. That is not my path. That is not my guy. That is not my food. That is not my business. That's just not for me. You can have that guy. Today I choose to open my heart fully. I'm over choosing pain. I know that life has lots of good things for me. I can step out of the rain. I have spent my whole life tending others, ignoring my own needs. Selfish men have been my lifelong pattern. Now I pull those weeds. I just say to myself, that's an old story. That is not my path. That is not my guy. That is not my food. That is not my business. That's just not for me. You can have that guy. Now I firmly trust my intuition. Let it guide me on my way. I make time to sit completely quiet and breathe throughout my day. I have a self-care toolkit and I use it. I suggest you have one too. Mostly I have loving thoughts and feelings, but if not, here's what I do. I just say to myself, that's an old story. That is not my path. That is not my guy. That is not my food. That is not my business. That's just not for me. Please keep that guy. All right. Thank you so much for your long attention. Peace.